All right. So I told myself that I should sleep on this, and then if I still feel the same way when I wake up, I will probably do a form of video on it. A very impromptu video as I'm standing here in front of my desk, in front of my computer, editing away videos. Editing videos that I wanted to put more effort into instead of trying to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But there's something about that game that is pissing me off, and that is the very trite and arrogant argument about it's called the Justice League. It's getting gotten me to the point where I thought to myself, if I still feel so strongly by a few hours time, then I would just kind of put this video out there to see if there's anyone else potentially in the same camp as me, in the camp that is just so annoyed by the arrogance of how people can just kind of look at the title of the game and say, well, it's called Kill the Justice League. Why are you so upset? Why this, why that? And just kind of look down at people that are, in fact, fans of these beloved characters. One in particular who created a little bit of an uproar when a certain scene got posted online. It was actually leaked some time ago. I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then now with the official or somewhat unofficial release of the game with the Deluxe Edition giving certain players early access, the full cutscene is really out there. And this is the specific scene that is kind of pissing some people off. And so the argument and why it is so annoying to kind of tackle, especially from the perspective of others who, let's just put it out there, are not really fans of these characters. They're not really fans, or at least as hard of fans. They probably like these characters, but just not to the extent of some people who grew up with these characters ever since childhood, because that's really where it boils down to. I noticed that an awful lot of people who use the whole, well, it's in the title kind of argument aren't really fans of Batman. They're really not fans of even Superman or Wonder Woman or Green Lantern or The Flash, because as much of a fan as I am of Batman ever since I was a tiny little kid, this also expands to the other characters of the Justice League and why it's very damn near impossible to defend the writing of a game like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And that's coming from someone who, even though has not bought the game and is not willing to support the game because of the bad writing, because I want to vote with my wallet by therefore not spending said money. I did, however, play the closed alpha that was back in November. That was under NDA until those previews came out, and it was so negative that WB and Rocksteady said, you know what, go ahead and talk about the game. So now I can actually talk about it and say that that's coming from someone who actually did enjoy a little bit of the gameplay as far as like the guns and how tactile and really good and smooth and really nice and satisfying it felt, because the gameplay is there. I just don't know why it's attached to a Suicide Squad IP. Why couldn't it just be a brand new IP? Because WB Games said so. Down. And thus, someone had to come in after the original people from Rocksteady left and decided to give us the script that was used for this game. And it's this script that has people in an uproar like myself, but then it just kind of weeds out like the roly-polies coming out whenever it rains, those little tiny little roly-poly bugs. Like those bugs coming out when it rains, it also flooded out these people that pretend to kind of get on a soapbox and talk down to us and be like, it's in the title, and you know, all these condescending tweets saying when a game called Kill the Justice League actually kills the Justice League. And I'm over here like, it's not about the actual act of killing the Justice League or any of these heroes dying. It's not the actual core that's bothersome. It's how they do it, how they present it, how it's written. Obviously, a bit of a spoiler here, because if you haven't already been on Twitter and already have seen the cutscenes and have seen the argument that was presented, spoilers, some of the Justice League do in fact die. One in particular is near and dear to me, Batman himself, but at the most pitiful way, at the way that just does not make sense for the character, especially since they keep hammering home the point that this is supposed to be the Arkham Batman, the Batman that we saw in, if you want to get kind of super technical, people say 3 games. I'll go as far as to say 4 games. Also the one from Arkham Origins, except that's him in like year 2, so he's kind of rough. But this is Asylum Batman, this is City Batman, Night Batman, and you mean to tell me that he was taken down by 4 thugs with guns, and 3 of which were never, ever appeared in the Arkham games. Not even Deadshot, this version of Deadshot at least, because according to this game, the prior one was an imposter. Okay. And the only one that really carries on over is Harley Quinn, and even she doesn't feel like the same Harley Quinn. She really doesn't. And you mean to tell me that these are the 4 that are able to not only capture and thwart Batman, but then Harley's just like, you know what? Done with this. Pop him in the head, just like that. And Batman again, this Arkham Batman that had so many plans, so many things up his sleeve throughout the 3 mainline Arkham games and even Origins. But like I said, let's go ahead and play devil's advocate and not count this one. Didn't have anything up his sleeve this time around, and just takes it in the head. And, the argument that could be presented is that, he knew he was taken, subconsciously, he knew he was taken over by Brainiac, and the only way to save everyone from him, even from himself, is to let himself get killed. But let's take the whole Brainiac takeover out of the equation. That scene of him, the hologram that the Suicide Squad were rudely, but understandably skipping through because they are the bad guys, that actually didn't really bother me that much. It's just, like I said, the way that they wrote him out speaks volumes to where we're at as far as, social climate and how they react to Batman. I honestly feel like an awful lot of the pockets in society right now are just kind of done with Batman and are almost kind of angry at Batman for some reason, that they find any way to kill him off or just make him not happy. And Suicide Squad does it, that, like I said, the manner, how they do it, in the method that they do it, is what's really disrespectful. It's not just the act of him dying, but if they have just done it in a way that makes sense for the character, that makes sense for the Suicide Squad to take him down. But none of it makes sense. And that's what's angering people like myself and others in the community. And so to see that you have so many idiots on Twitter and social media say, it's called Kill the Justice League, what do you expect? Again, that's not the goddamn point. And the reason for why I was moved with such ire to make this video is because I'm very sad to see that this ideology of like, well, it's called Kill the Justice League, also spread to even some content creators and some personalities that I like to watch and listen to in podcast form on YouTube and on Twitch. There's a couple of streamers that I genuinely like to watch. One of them is one, if not my favorite streamer in quite some time. And I was very disappointed last night during one of his streams for him to kind of get on that box and talk down to, fans of Batman, to be like, oh, you guys are just mad because your boy died. And I'm like, and I even posted in the chat, it's not the fact that he died, it's the fact how he died, how he got killed off. And he singled out my comment and was just like, shut up. And I was bummed to get that reaction out of him. And it's, again, I obviously 5 minutes later I moved on. I was like, I got stuff to do. It's not a big deal, but it's just an opinion that I wanted to put out there, and it's not going to move past this video. It's not going to go past this video. It's not going to go past the tweet or anything like that. At the end of the day, I know that these are characters that are not real, but at the same time, all I just kind of, ask, whether or not it's met with any kind of answer or reciprocation, all I ask is for some respect. And you know why I ask for that? It's because I'm almost myself willing to put down money, $100, that at least half, if not more, of these keyboard warriors on Twitter, some of these people, some of even these YouTube and Twitch personalities and influencers and content creators who are standing on that box trying to talk down to us, being like, it's called Kill the Justice League, what do you expect because they killed your hero, are also the same ones, at least like I said, half, somewhere between 50 to 60%, I'm willing to bet that some of them are the same ones who cried, or at the very least got a little upset in almost ire and protest when the leaks for Last of Us Part 2 got out there in early 2020, indicating the death of a certain character there, very early on in that game, and very unceremoniously. Willing to bet anything that a good chunk of them who are trying to talk down at the comic book and superhero community are also the same ones who were upset that a certain someone got offed by a golf club in Last of Us Part 2. Think about that. And like I said, all I ask is for just a little bit of RSPCT. Yeah, I spelled that right. I gotta finish my coffee if that wasn't any indication. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.